Welcome back to another episode of Wayward Home, and today we are going to be building a museum for all the stuff that I've collected overall. For stuff just like this that I've collected in the last episode, where I personally tried out the trial chambers. Ever since then, I figured out that those things respawn and stuff, and haven't gone back since, but I'm most definitely going to automate it where I can just get those trial keys and be able to get everything that I want from it. But overall, we're going to do the museum today and build that whole entire thing right here in this plot of land that I've had cleared out for a while now, just for the purpose of a museum or a little tree farm. So let's get right into it. One of the first things that I want to do when coming to build this museum is kind of plan out what I want to do. So first off, like I have a kind of vision in my head. So I have like the slanted roofs going towards the middle, slanted roof, and then a little platform thing right there that's flat, but it's also a roof that kind of goes underneath both of those slanted roofs right there. But over here, underneath those slanted roofs that are going up, are going to be the main museum part. So technically, this is going to be the hallway right here to each part of the museum. So I'm coming up with this little design right here. So this is like the little outline of the whole entire build as of right now. So I want to do the outer portion, so with the stone brick as right there, and then do the inner layer as most likely either oak or spruce as the inner layer. And then most definitely do the roof as a oak top, so when it's coming down, but with the outlining of spruce logs on the outside. So I got this part all finished on the first layer, and then I want to put these as the main columns for the entrance, and hopefully it's going to look decently good with this. Let's see for a second. Let's get this up. Because all the extra parts like around this as the wall and stuff is all going to be wood, not stone brick like this, and just to make sure it doesn't like contrast or hit with each other. It looks decent. I just have to go a little bit farther up to like maybe that height or that height a little bit, because the roof is going to come over a little bit. So if you see with that little edit going a little bit higher, I can make the roof, the flat part, go right here through that part, and then everything else go up straight diagonally towards the air. Hopefully not too far out. It's gonna be like 2 or 3 blocks out, and then boom, 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 all the way to the end, a little bit off the end, so it's like a little pointed, jagged part, which I think I've seen that in a couple of aquatic or aquariums, stuff like that. So it's kind of cool to kind of have that relevance on this build. So this first layer is going to be the spruce planks as right here, going right over, and then I want to have like a little window thing right here, a 3 I want to have to do a 2 by window right here, just because of how close it's going to be on the close to the roof, at least for the first part. This will allow for a little bit more light inside the place, inside the museum, and also allow for the roof to not like hit that part. So it's going to be like one more height. So it's going to be like right there, and then it's going to keep on going up, so the windows are going to keep on going up too. But let's get into a time lapse of this whole entire build, because it's going to be a while for doing this, but we want to do that and then hopefully do the flooring and put some stuff in here for the museum to be opened, man. And plus, sorry about the time lapse, because I don't have a alt account set up right now to do a time lapse on Bedrock, but I think I'm figuring one out with my PS4 to be able to get on this world and do one. So let's get right into the weirder time. Got the whole entire outline of the whole entire building finished so far, and have all the walls set up except for the little gaps up here, which I'm going to put windows in just a second with this cobbled deep slate or deep slate bricks, kind of right there up, and then outlining with glass right there, and have a little bit more wood right there on each side, just to make it where it's not a full length thing where it kind of doesn't look in its right place. And then I have to kind of put down more glass on these windows and kind of get them tidied up and put more cobbled deep slate right here, or make a little thing, do the inside part with these things and just do them farther up and kind of make them more of a royal type palace thing. And then what we're fixing to do right here and work on is the little dome in the center, the glass dome that goes up, that kind of brings light into the whole entire thing, into the build. And one of the big things I'm kind of excited for is this wall right here. There's nothing much about it. You're like wondering, what can you put on that wall? Right as we start the monument and putting the statues and museum stuff in here, I'm thinking about putting the Ender Dragon just coming out of the wall right there, and just like coming out at people instead of just putting it straight in the center, because the center, yeah, that'll look good, but it's gonna be so low to the ground that it's gonna look awkward in a sense. But if it's coming out of a wall, it kind of looks like it's more of going through an end wall or end stone half the time, which is actually kind of cool to have just that little display of just the Ender Dragon coming out right as you come in from the front doors, and the first thing you see is the Ender Dragon coming out of the wall, just with its wings and then its head right there. And you just see the whole entire perfection, and then maybe some green coming down through here, little garden thing or fountain to display the royal museum of this whole entire place. Now it's time to kind of like get this little thing going, where I'm getting the little dome part right here. So the first thing I have to do on this is kind of get the little outline first. So this is 3 right here. So 1, 2, and 3. And this part's going to be going up with glass on it, so nothing too crazy, just more like a bell tower than it is anything. And the build so far is coming together very well. if you're like wondering about that at this point, because the windows look actually majestic a good bit from the outside. I want to show you like the final project when it's done, at least, because I'm still not fully done right now. I still have a good bit to go, which is that right? Oh no, I'm just doing it like that. Okay. I was like wondering what was up with that. Okay. But yeah, I want to wait till the final project to show y'all the full thing instead of showing y'all now and not giving you the full thing. So but I want to finish this up and then hopefully start on the inside or interior of the build, which is going to be pretty fun to actually talk through. So I got the whole entire exterior done on the museum, and let me show you how it looks. So like from right now, from the inside, it looks like this, and I got all the glass done on this dome and got the dome kind of put out too. Need to fill in that spot. I forgot about that spot, but easy little fix. And then this is our interior as of right now. This is going to be the next part we are going to be working on during this episode. But let's fly all the way up here. If I can land on that thing, I would 100% do it. Let's see. Awesome. Not even a good view. Right here is a good view from it. But this is how it looks so far. The museum, which is actually crazy. It looks very nice and a lot different from any build that I've ever seen, like on my worlds and like other people's worlds. The dome's okay for the most part. It's just like the stone kind of contrasted a little bit, but also fits in a little bit also. It doesn't fit in, but it does fit in, which is a weird thing about it. But we're going to start working on the interior and start getting some trees outside too at this point in time. So I want to just do a time lapse as I am clearing out this undergrowth right here for the floor. The first things I have to go get just for this flooring is just like all the gravel and sand and then red dye for this at this point, because this is a big build. And oh, I was going to show you all it, but not today. You got a little glimpse, but not too much of one. Trying to not show it till it's fully finished or till it's pleasable in my sight. So I have this little outline right here. So this is going to be the little achievements and all this stuff that I've done in the world so far. Just like maybe defeating the Ender Dragon, the new trials update, maybe have like a little specific area for each one. Plus I have to kind of bring this out and put these things right here. So it's like just a huge window with like maybe huge curtain too. So it's kind of more angelic and stuff. And this part is going to be the red carpet right here, because I was like, I'm not going to put the red carpet like everywhere because that would be just too much. But this inside part is going to be just regular old deep slate to kind of make it a little bit different. So it's its own little style. And then this middle part, think about just doing a huge statue right here of just like a person or two people, and then having the Ender Dragon come out of the wall right there. And also outside, I'm planning on maybe doing this as the main entrance going out here, maybe with a different cobblestone deep slate variation in between, and then with
the little fence gates or fences as the trees going up. I wonder what's that circle up there? Oh, okay, that's just weird. That's just visual effect. But I have these little trees going up on each side to just kind of create that little effect of having like a thin tree type fancy build of a museum. I got the interior done, the flooring and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to start working on the little wall this last little bit, putting the stone brick right here, and then the little lining of the little curtains and frame of these windows. And then we are going to start putting in our museum artifacts, man. So, ever since the beginning of this build, I have imagined and reconstructed a museum for today's video. And I want to show y'all how it looks from this perspective. And it's actually kind of cool. Boom, man. Man, this museum is a lot better than I expected it to be. It looks so much better, and these huge windows on the side just make it that much more better when it comes down to it, and more fancy. And I had the outside part done with the trees and the fence gates and the leaves as of now. It took me a minute to figure out what I needed to do for them, and finally figured it out. And got a little style going on these trees, and then the little pathway that goes into this entire thing. But there's like one little thing that I told y'all that I was working on right before I cut to this part of the video, is the little museum monuments inside, little things that we're going to be putting up to showcase and everything. I was like, why should I put up monuments of stuff that y'all guys will not understand or even see, and is this gonna be like I'll never come back in here again? Maybe once or twice, but I'll never come back in here. That's plain up simple. So I came up with the idea of doing the episodes in the museum. So episode 1 was the world tour on the WayWardHome, and we have the home build of the Japanese style building right there in a miniature form. And then my favorite one out of them all as of right now when it comes to these museum builds is the Tricky Trials Chambers. The Tricky Trials Chambers is actually very nice and very detailed. I literally had to go over to the Tricky Trials and kind of get all these materials to just get it, because I still have a bunch of them in here at this point. And if you're wondering why I didn't use the keys, the things were still not loaded in. The mobs were, the mob spawners, but not the actual things that give you treasure. So I was like kind of bummed out by that, so I just took them on back here. But this is the Tricky Trials showcase right here. And then thirdly, this episode, which it looks pretty good and pretty decently good for the museum as in a whole, for what I can put in this small space. But I have the glass dome right there, and the little caving in of the roof right there, and the little inside right here, with me placing down the carpet or concrete as the flooring in this episode of episode 3 of WayWardHome. But let me show you everything else throughout here. So this is the main dome part inside the middle of the build, and it took me a minute to kind of figure out how this is going to work, but I got the glass up and everything kind of detailed pretty well. And if you're wondering, Every single one of these are going to be episodes all around here, especially this one. And this one is going to be an episode where we defeat the Ender Dragon. Again, technically, on this world. But it's going to be so much more fun. I want to be using rockets, and I want to literally venture up and really get ready and put so much stuff in my inventory just to be able to defeat it. Or technically we could defeat it so many different times, like multiple times. So it's a big episode where we we killed the Ender Dragon like 50 times or something like that, which will most likely be maybe 5, 6, I don't even know if that much, 3 times, something like that, because that material's crazy to get. But I'm really excited about this one in episode 6. Now I've been planning, and I think I said that in episode 1 or 2, where I had something planned later on with something underground. Not the Tricky Trials, but something a little bit different. A little challenge. But that's the end of today's episode as we build the museum today. Every single episode will add a new part of the museum and add a new structure inside here to showcase different things we have done on each episode throughout the whole entire world and let's play of this world. So thank you for watching today, and I'll see y'all guys in the next episode of Wayward Home. Bye.